What's up, everybody? So, I am going to go over, um, today in this video, part one, I'm just going to go over the basic wind rings. And I know we have the tournament coming up, so it could be helpful, um, but I will suggest maybe not trying to use it on this tournament, but it's up to you. Because the problem that you're going to come up against is the time. You only have 30 seconds to shoot, and when you're trying to learn this, um, like I said, the problem you're going to have is getting everything correct in 30 seconds. That was the big thing I had an issue with when I first started learning the rings, was being able to get everything done um, in 30 seconds and being able to get the shot off. That was the problem, the issue that I had. All right, so we're going to look at the screen that we have here, and this is the basic view of our rings. So when we are adjusting, this is the way that we're going to see our rings, okay? So obviously the outside of the white ring is going to be 5. The outside of the clear ring, the black ring, will be 4, and then so on. And then the new green circle that they've added in recently, that is going to be half. So it'll be basically half of 1, which is nice, especially when you're adjusting like 1.5 rings, because before, you just kind of had to guess where you're pulling over the bullseye, and that sometimes can be difficult. All right, so I'm just going to kind of just run through 4 different steps on just how to make these adjustments. The easiest way that I know possible to explain it to you for making these adjustments. So we're going to go to, so I've made some slides here. So slide 1. So this is just a basic shot. So like my turn has come up, and the first thing that you're going to want to look at, the first thing I always look at as soon as my shot comes up, is I look at the wind immediately. All right, that's the first thing I always look at. Now, if you're using notebook app or caddy app, a part of the step 1 is as soon as you see the wind, you're going to enter whatever that wind is into your caddy or notebook app, and it'll give you the adjustment that you're supposed to make. All right, that will be a part of step 1, but I don't know who is using the caddy or notebook app. So yeah. Now, once you got the wind, once you know what the wind is and you know what your adjustment is going to be, all right, we're going to hop to step 2. So what you're always going to do is you're going to rotate your screen directly away from you. All right, so you want the wind arrow pointing straight away from you. All right, every time. So now like my wind arrow, it doesn't look 100% straight, because you will see in the higher tours and in pro, expert, and master division, the wind will make the arrow wobble. So you're going to want to try to get it as straight as you possibly can. All right, and then the third step, and I have the wind circled here, so my wind is 6 miles per hour, 6.1 miles an hour. Now with clubs, their accuracy, the higher the accuracy, the smaller the rings are going to be. All right. The lower the accuracy, the bigger the rings. So for 100% clubs, you've got your quarterback, you've got the rock, you've got the sniper. 1 mile per hour is 1 ring. So here is 6.1 rings. So I have them marked on my rings here. You can see that, 1 mile per hour is going to be that white ring, and then all the way up. So I pull over the bullseye. So if you count the rings, you've got white, outside of white is 1, outside of clear 2, outside of blue 3, outside of orange 4, outside of yellow is 5, and then when you pull over the bullseye to the other yellow, that makes 6. Okay, so part of step 3 is you're going to, I guess, this kind of goes into step 4, I guess they're combined. So once you see, you see the wind and you've got your adjustment and you're on step 3, you're going to line up that take shot button. So the take shot button, the top of that take shot button, you can see where I have that. You can see where I have this red line here. That's going to be your adjustment point. So that is where when you drag the rings down, wherever. So like let's say for example, the adjustment here is 6 rings. So you can see the red line. You can see this black line up here. I want that to be flush with the top of this take shot button. So here, so I have dragged the rings down, so you can't see the yellow ring because it's flush with the top of that take shot button. So I'm dragging the black line here. I'm dragging that down to the top of this take shot button, and this is what it looks like once I've done that, and then I'll take my shot. All right, so there's our wind. We put in our calculations if we're using the notebook app. If we're not, then I'll show you another way to make calculations. An easier way, it's just basic arithmetic. Okay, we're going to rotate the screen so the wind is facing directly away from us. Once we know how much the adjustment is, you're usually going to start with the top of the take shot button on the outside of that white ring most of the time. If your adjustment is larger than 5 miles an hour, you're always going to have the take shot button on the bottom of that white ring. Now, let's say that my wind was 4 miles an hour. Well, then my take shot button, the top of this, would be on the inside of the white ring because that would be 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. And then the center dot, I guess you would consider, that would be a part of the 4. So then you would do the same thing, drag it down to here. All right, so I'll play a game if you're confused on what I'm saying. So what I'm showing you here, all of this, I will show you what I'm doing in the game. All right, so let's hop into a match here real fast. My mouth is super dry right now. Jeez. So I hope everyone's pumped for this tournament, man. I'm super pumped. I played better than I did last one. That was a disaster. All right. So one of my accounts, I have many accounts. Um, so we're just going to start out. I'm going to try to use the clubs that you guys are going to probably be using. So let's go. Probably Goliath, Thorn, yeah, for sure. Uh, Rapier, I guess, is fine. Nirvana, and then some of you might be playing with Malibu, so we'll throw the Malibu in there. All right, and then that's going to be pretty much like a basic club setup for everybody. That's either starting out in rookie or pro until you start unlocking clubs. And then we'll just play with the Quasar. It's not that big of a deal. So I'll go to 2 or 7 because that's a pretty decent amount of wind. That's not too bad. So think of the steps. Now I'll show you like another way to adjust that's it's pretty easy. So my my EM 8 here, its accuracy is really bad. It's below 60. So really what I can do is I can take the wind and I can just divide it by 2. So right here, I see the wind. I'm going to rotate my screen so the wind is directly facing away from me. So the wind divided by 2 is going to be 1.5. All right. So I'll put the top of my take shot button on the bottom of that yellow ring. I'll drag it over until it's in the middle of that orange ring. So that's 1.5. All right. And then I'll take my shot. Hopefully I hit perfect, which I do. All right. And it's going to go where we want it to. All right. I really didn't even see where I was hitting it, to be honest. So just as simple as that. All right, just as simple as that. So now when you have clubs that the accuracy is above 60, then you need to look at. I'll take you there. I'll show you. There's a website that you can go to. It's golfclashnotebook.io, and it's an awesome website. It's got everything you need to know about Golf Clash. Um, if you don't have book or caddy app, I'll show you the cheat sheets there that you can use. You can create your own cheat sheet, and basically, when your turn comes up, you can look at your club, and they've got wind gauges next to the clubs. And like, let's say you're wind 6.5 miles an hour, you can drag your finger down and find that, and it'll tell you exactly how many rings you need to adjust. All right, so with my sniper, it's 100% accuracy club, so that means 1 mile per hour is one ring. All right, so we've got 9.8 miles per hour, so that's going to be 9.8 rings. All right, so this will be a little harder adjustment, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So I'm going to rotate my screen so the wind is directly facing away from me, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I want enough room to be able to adjust completely. So at bottom, I take shot buttons on that white, and I'm going to drag the rings all the way to the other side, which that's 10 rings, all right? And then I'll take my shot here. There's actually elevation on this hole, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow. It's 10% elevation, so that's actually pretty close, but real basic and simple like that. So with 100% accuracy club, there's really no math involved. It's just 1 mile per hour is one ring, So, um, real simple. Now you'll hear people say pulling over the bullseye. Um, what that is like, let's say you have 7 miles an hour. You'll see people make two adjustments. You can either make two adjustments. You can put it on the bottom of the white ring and drag to the middle, which is 5, and then back out and then put it on the outside of the orange ring and then drag to the middle, and that's 7. Or what you can do is put it on the outside of the white, drag, go over the middle, and then have it stop on, I guess, yeah, on the yellow ring on the other side. So you can either do two adjustments or you can just do one by pulling over the bullseye. I pull over the bullseye because it takes less time to do. Um, so let's just get this in the hole, and then we'll go to the shootout, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by pulling over the bullseye. Another way to make sure that your arrow is straight, and some people know about this, some people don't, is above the arrow for the wind, it says wind, okay, WIND. Now, in between the I and the N, if your arrow is pointing directly in between those two letters, it's straight. That's how you know. And I'll show you. I'll show you, for example. I'll take a screenshot of it too. So I can zoom in on show you, and I'll draw an arrow through the middle, down through your arrow, so you can see. All right. Well, if I had the tip of my arrow in between those two, then I know my arrow. I know my adjustment is straight. All right. Oh, geez, we got a small adjustment. I thought we were gonna have a bigger one. Okay, but I mean, I can still show you here. All right. So this one. Let's see. I'm gonna go right there. Yeah, right about there. Okay. So rotate my screen. Okay. All right. Then I'll take a screenshot of this. And now for pulling over the bullseye, there's one, and I'm going to pull over, and that's 2. Okay. You can either do that, or another way is you can go that way. But I pull over the bullseye. So either way, it doesn't matter. It's just when you pull over the bullseye, you're you're more precise because when you pull to the middle, you could be off by zero point 0.1, which could be the difference of the ball going in the hole or the ball not going in the hole. So that's why I pull over the bullseye, especially if my adjustment is a hole. So, like, let's say my adjustment is 3, I pull over the bullseye because I can see where the circle ends, so I can line it up exactly perfect. Now, if you have, like, let's say 2.5, you kind of have to eyeball in the middle of one of those rings where you think point 0.5 is. So there is really no, so that's why I guess you can use the half ring in the middle, which is why I said that's good that that's there. So if your adjustments, let's say 2.5, you're gonna have your take on the outside of that. Let's run one more game. Yeah, of course. And let me go to the picture that we had just taken real fast. Where's it at? All right, yeah, see this? Look at this right here. All right, now you can see the I and the N. Let's see, can I get my tool here? All right, see this? You can see this right here. Look how this is directly in between the two. All right, I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, but if it's looking like that, then you know that that wind is straight. You know that that pull is going to be straight. Now, tomorrow, I will teach you guys about 1201 and an 1159 pull angle, all right? So we're not going to talk about that today. I just want everyone to understand how to properly adjust. And then I'll go in a little bit more in depth for the guys that already know how to adjust and just want to learn a little bit more. So as long as you know that that wind arrow is pointing in between the I and the N, you know that that wind arrow is going to be straight. All right, so let's run one more game, and then I'll take you guys to the website and I'll show you what you can look at for your own clubs because every club is going to be different. You know, you may have, let's say, a Goliath 6. Well, if I've got a Goliath 8, the accuracy is different between those two. So my adjustments are going to be slightly different than yours. So when you go to this website and you plug in what you need to, you're able to see, okay, this is what I need to adjust for 1 mile an hour. All right, and every club is going to have that. So what your adjustment should be for 1 mile an hour. So we know already that 100% accuracy clubs like the Rock here or the quarterback, that's one ring per 1 mile an hour. All right, so let's get it set up here. All right, so let's rotate the screen. Now here's going to be, I'm going to pull over the bullseye here. All right, so we have 8.4. So I'm right. I use the top of the ball. You can use the top of the take shot ball. I use the top of the ball on the top of the take shot button. So we're going to drag. So that's 7. There's 8. And then I'm going to guess. That's about 8.4. That's what I mean. It's hard to exactly be correct. You have to kind of eyeball it. Or you can do 2 adjustments. You could go 5 rings, and then you can go 3 and use the top of the green ring. I'm sorry, the top of the green ring, which is a half. So if you want to be, I mean, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. You can go from the inside of the clear ring to the other side of the yellow, so you know you have a perfect 5, and then you can go from the outside of the blue, which is 3, to the opposite side of the green, which is 3.5. So, but I mean, if you want to make two adjustments, that's up to you. I mean, it's going to take longer to do. That's why I just pull over the bullseye, and then just eyeball it. Um, I mean, it makes more sense to do two adjustments to have a more precise adjustment. But when you only have 30 seconds to take a shot, you're thinking, I want to get this off as fast as I can, especially especially when you're learning this. All right, so I'm just going to shoot from here just to adjust, be able to show the adjustment. It's going to be a bad shot. All right, so we've got 9. So this is what I was trying to say. Like, let's say it's 9.5. So I'll go 6. Then we got 7, 8, 9. So then right on the green, that's 9.5. This is the wrong adjustment, but I'm just showing you as an example of what I was talking about. Yeah, I mean, it was close, but it was wrong. If I would have stayed with the normal adjustment, it would have probably hit the pin. But so that's what I mean. If you want to make two adjustments, you can do it exactly the way I did. Um, so I mean that's pretty. That's just the basics of wind adjustment. So after this game, um, I'll go to the golf-notebook.io site, and I'll show you exactly what you need to look up for your clubs, and then I'll show you the cheat sheets that you can make for your clubs. So if you want to use this method for the tournament and you don't have the notebook or caddy app, this is the next best thing. And I promise and I guarantee that once you get this down, your game will skyrocket. You will be so much better in tour play and tournament play. Once I learned all of this and got it down, and mastered it, that's when I started, picking up medals from tournaments, um, and just became a more consistent player. I mean, I still hate tour play, but tournament play is like my bread and butter. So, but yeah, that's all from wind adjustment. Without any wind adjustment, you know, I wouldn't be able to play tournaments like that without knowing and mastering the wind adjustment. All right. Um, there's a lot of things to wind adjustment. You're going to have elevation there, and there's just a lot of things to it, which makes it more fun because there's so much more to always learn about it. Um, all right, so here we got an 8.3 mile an hour wind. Our opponent's ours is going to probably be similar. Actually higher because we're using a quasar, so it'll be a little bit higher, probably around 9 something like that. So he's doing the same thing. He's rotating the screen. Um, I don't know what that was. That was kind of a crazy adjustment. So don't do that. Uh, using a little bit of underpower. Yeah. Ah, let's hope I can beat this. If I don't, then that's pretty sad. But okay. So we're just gonna kind of check. And also another thing that you want to do is when you're making your adjustment, you want to pull your club back and see where the minimum distance is, because if you're adjusting and you can't make a full adjustment and you go into min, well, that's a problem. All right, so I'm hoping that I can get this. I'll be close. I'll be really close. So let's see. No, I think I'll be all right. All right, so it's 8.9. All right, so I'm gonna pull over, and there's 9, just right under 9. Oh my god! It doesn't matter. I'm gonna beat him anyway. But um, So that's just the basics right there of wind ring adjustment. All right. So first step is you want to look at the wind. You want to see the wind, and then you want to find your adjustment. You want to figure out what the adjustment is. All right. Then second step is you're going to rotate the screen. All right. So actually, you're going to see the wind. You're going to figure out what that is. You're going to place your club where you want to shoot it. Your top spin, your side spin, whatever, and then you're going to rotate the screen. Okay. And you're going to use the top of the take shot button to whatever, if you're going to pull over the bullseye or if you're just going to pull to the center. All right, whatever method you want to do, and you're going to pull down till they're flush. All right, and then you're going to take your shot. So let's head to, let's see. Yeah, I already had a bunch of stuff up. Okay, so this is going to be golfclashnotebook.io. All right, this is what I used when I didn't have the app. I was always on this site. I still always have it up. All right, and so you're going to scroll over, all right, and you're going to click on tools. All right, you're going to go to Wind Chart Creator, and you're going to input your clubs in here. All right, so like let's say, I'm just going to put in a few of the clubs that I was just using. All right, and then let's see, we'll go sniper. Um, Nine. It doesn't matter. Um, and then Goliath. I think that was an 8. And then let's see here. We got our Thorn. I think it was an 8. And then what else? Let's just throw another one in there. And then Rapier, 8. All right. So here you have mode. That's going to be the power of your ball. So if, I was just using a Quasar, so it's going to be a power 1. All right. So that's what I'm going to put. Now, wind per ring, you're going to click create chart. And this is going to tell you for each club, all right, what your adjustment is going to be. So like look at the sniper. So for example, 1 mile per hour is going to be 1 ring. 2 miles per hour will be 2. So here, let me take a screenshot. And I'll show you exactly how it's really supposed to be viewed. So you can view this as the rings, okay? All right, so this looks like our rings now, doesn't it? Except for, they're, geez. Except they're, yeah, not in the correct places. But here, you've got your first ring. So let's see here. So you got your first ring, your second, your third, your fourth, and your fifth. All right. Then on the opposite side of the rings, you've got your 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So you'll have so really, when you're adjusting, that will be 1 ring on this side, but we're just going to look at this as a normal set of rings. Okay, so it'll represent it's going to represent this. All right, so what you're looking at here is how we're going to see our rings when we rotate our screen and we get ready to make our adjustment. So that is going to represent here. So this 1 mile per hour is going to be 1 ring. Now on the opposite side here, bottom right, I'm going to have to draw on it so you guys understand what I'm saying, because yeah, I can't point. Here, this is going to be your 10th ring. Here will be your 5th ring. Okay, here's your first. So this, let's see, let me do it this way. So the 5th ring here, all right, that one is going to be this ring right here. Obviously the one with the 5. Now the white ring on the opposite side of the rings, that'll be 10, okay? And then the ring obviously that shows 1, and the ring on the opposite side of yellow, the other side yellow, that'll be 6. Okay, it's confusing because when you're adjusting these numbers will actually be flipped. So one will actually be in the place of the white ring, because you're adjusting, you're pulling towards you. All right, but that just represents the rings and what their value are. That's just what that represents. All right. So when we're looking at the rings, it's actually going to the numbers will be switched. All right. So when we're pulling towards us, but this just shows the value of what the rings are. That's all that means. All right. So now okay. So for example, our extra mile. Okay, you can see the accuracy right here. The accuracy is 45, so that's pretty bad. So basically, for 1 mile an hour, it's going to be 2 rings. All right. So for 2 miles an hour, it's going to be 4 rings. So like that was what I was trying to tell you, is if your accuracy on your club is underneath 50, just take the wind and divide it by 2. All right. And you can see here. So for, I guess, let's say 10 miles an hour, it's going to be 5 rings. All right. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right. It would be, and your adjustment will be 5 rings. All right. Um, for 10 miles an hour, um, you know, it will be, yeah, 20 rings. I mean, that doesn't, yeah, it's, no, okay, so 20 miles an hour, I'm sorry, 20 miles an hour will be 10 rings. That's right. So 20 miles an hour. So I guess how you could view the numbers on the inside is just the wind. And then the color of the squares that they are is going to represent the rings. So the white on this side with the 20, that'll be the 10th ring. The white on the opposite side with the 10 in it will be the 5. Okay, the 5 and then the 10. And then with the 2 and the 1 is going to be the 1 ring, and then the 12.4 will be the 6th ring. If you understand what I'm saying there. Um, so this will be the way that you're going to find it. Now, if you back out and you go to rings per wind and you click create chart, boom, there's your cheat sheet right there. All right. So this is what you're going to use if you don't have the notebook or the Caddy app. So right here, in this column for each club, these numbers right here for each, that is the wind. That represents the wind. All right. And it goes all the way up to 16 miles an hour. Okay. So let's zoom in real quick. So we're going to get ready to take our shot. Come up on and it's a shot, and we look at the wind right away, and we see that it's 5 miles an hour. All right, so each club has 3 columns in it. The first column is max distance, second is medium, and third is minimum distance. So obviously we're going to be at max distance on our drive, um, unless it's other circumstances. So our adjustment will be 2.4 rings. Okay, so if we go to the rings, the way you could do it is you could start here. I'll have to take a screenshot of this one so I can draw on it. I forget that. So 2.4 rings, the way you can do it is you could have your take shot button right under there, and then you're going to drag. So let's just imagine us dragging the rings towards us, and then you can have you're going to have to stop somewhere in here where you think 0.4 is. So there's 1, and then there's 2, and then you got your 0.4. So the top of the take shot button will eventually end right here. So that's the thing that sucks, is you're going to have to determine in between here, where, like let's say if, let's just get all this crap off the screen. Even better, let's just delete it. So you're going to have to determine, let's just zoom it all the way in. If you say that that's 5, you're just going to have to determine where the other spots are to adjust. I mean, that's the crappy thing. But if you can use this ring in the center, then you always know that that's where 0.5 is. And then you're just going to have to go 6, 7, 8, And you're just gonna have to figure those out because I have to guess some of them myself. So I also have. There's really no other method to figuring out. So the tenths, there's no method to figuring that out. That's all eyeball and experience. All right. So that's why I say if you want to make two adjustments to make it easier. So let's say our adjustment is 4.5. All right. So you'll start here. Let's go back to the red. So you'll adjust here. You'll pull down once. All right. And then you'll bring your take shot. You'll move back and put your take shot button back under here again. But when you pull over, you're going to stop right here. All right. So then there's 2, 4, and 5. All right. So that's the only other way for you to be a little bit more accurate, because underneath here, at this line, that's just 0. So you've got 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 5. All right, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you've got 10. So you're just going to kind of have to figure out where to place those, okay? Because I mean, it's important, obviously, because point one, it can determine whether the ball goes in the hole, swirls out, or completely misses the cup. So just based off of experience and doing it, you'll pick it up, and you'll kind of be like, okay, I'm pretty sure that this is where it's at. And if you watch other people play and you watch their adjustments, you can just watch how they adjust and where they stop at, and then just from that you can be like, okay, well that's where that, like, let's say the one that I have the most issue with is point 0.8. That's the one that I always have the most issue with, where I'm stopping on an adjustment. All right, because you've got 0.9 here, okay, and then you've got your whole number up here. So here's one ring, and then there's 2 rings. So obviously we know where 2 rings is. Then you've got 9, 8, 7. Oh my gosh, this is ugly. So you got 9, 8, 7, 6, and then 5, and 4, 3, 2, 1. So the one I always have the issue with is right in here, is to guess. So really 7 and 8 is guessing right in here. That's the one that I have the problem with. Everyone is going to have their issue. It could be in between 3 and 2 area, but you're just going to have to learn off of experience. That's the only way, because there is no way to learn how to adjust for tenths. I wish there was, because if there was, I would tell you. But because of the different accuracies in the clubs, the ring sizes are going to be different, so you can't put a set thing for tenths. So let's just recap real fast. So we've got step 1 is going to be look at the wind. All right, when our turn comes up, we're going to input our stuff. So if you're using the notebook app, our wind is 7.8. Let's just imagine that this club is the extra mile. Let's just say that's the extra mile. So 7.8 here on the chart, 7.8 is going to be 3.7 rings free. So for your adjustment there, so let's say our adjustment here, we've got it. All right, so we know it's 3.7. So we're going to go to step 2. So after we place our ball, where we're going to shoot it, use our top spin, whatever we're going to do, we go to step 2. We're going to rotate our screen so the wind is facing directly away from us, and use the I and the N and the word in, so so if the arrow is in between, though, even if it's wobbling, and you try to get it as straight as you can, then it'll be a straight pull. All right, and then so you're going to make sure it's away from you. All right, and then step 2. So our adjustment was, what was it? It was 3 points. Okay, so 3.7. So let's do a screenshot here. So we've got, so the top of our take shot button will be placed right here, okay, at 2, and then 3 will be right here where the top of that 3 is. And then, like I said, you're going to have to eyeball where 7 is, because you got to figure there's that, then you've got, you know, yeah, I can't make these dots any smaller, but yeah, so you're going to have to guess in here where 3.7 is. So you'll drag up to, where you eyeball 3.7 to be, okay? And then you're going to take your shot. Um, you can't see what I'm writing on the image. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. It's let's see. What did you Hey Josh, what did you what exactly did you need to see? There is a delay in the chat, so I think there's like a 1 minute delay. But I'll keep talking and you type. Just send me what you needed to be able to see for what I was writing on the screen. Just tell me and I'll either type it back to you or I'll just say it. Um, but if you want, you can take these screenshots. You can save them. You can save the rings. Um, you can save whatever. Um, this video, once I finish, it will always be on my channel, so you can always go back to it and watch it again. All right. Let's how much time has the stream been running? So I'm at 42. I'm trying to keep it under an hour, so let's run one more game real fast. um and this will be kind of like the last thing. And Josh, I'll get with you um after the stream. I'll message you, and you can just ask me you can just ask me any question. What's up, rough one? That's one of the admins. That's one of the other admins in GCTI. Good dude, super good dude. All right, so let's go back into the game. Just run one more. So we're just going to use everything that we just learned right there. So just imagine you've got your cheat sheets right next to you. So if you've got a printer or something and you print them off, or if you just want to copy them, I mean, that take a long time. So, all right, so right now we're going to look at our wind. So our wind is 3.7. We're going to look at our cheat sheet. I'm looking at my cheat sheet right now. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so now I'm going to place my rings. Let's see, where am I at here? All right, that's probably the wrong club to use, yeah. So we're going to place my shot in the yabba dabba do. All right, now I'm going to rotate my screen. All right, so my arrow is right in between the eye and the end. It's kind of wobbling, but that's about as straight-ish as you're going to get it. All right, so just based off of basic math, 3.7 divided by 2. I'm gonna go like 1.8-ish and adjust. And I pull to the middle on that because it's I usually do for like drives. I just pull to the middle because it doesn't always have to be exact on a drive, but like with a thorn shot or something like that, it definitely has to be on point, especially if you're going to try to put it in the hole. I think I have the tree in my way. Yeah. Oh well. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, rough one. Yeah, that's my guy right there, man. He was in GCTI before it was GCTI, man. When we were like a bunch of no-namers, you know what I mean? We got famous, and he's still cool. Man, I love that skeleton hand. That thing is so cool. Halloween tournaments, by far my favorite tournaments of the year, hands down. Hands down, my favorite tournaments of the year. And the balls that they come out with are awesome. The oddball, that's my favorite ball. All right, boom. All right, so it's our turn again. So we're going to look at the wind. So 2 point. All right, and also we'll talk about tomorrow. We'll talk about distance and how that's going to affect your adjustment. So let's try to make sure that we don't hit the tree. Okay, I think we're good. So I'm at medium distance right now. Let's put the line a little bit through. All right, so I'm going to rotate the screen. All right, and here I'm just going to, oh man, I don't know what to adjust here. Let's just go one. I got to hit perfect to make it drop. That would have dropped it perfect, but so you can see what I did there. I actually used for one. You can use any ring. It doesn't matter which one you use, but you can pull from one ring to the other for one. I mean, if you want, you can use the white ring. That doesn't matter. Whatever ring you want to use for one, you can. Um, yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, for the point eight. Okay, all right. Yes, that's like the confusing the point eight. That's real confusing. I'll explain it better to you. In the shootout, I'll I'll just make up an adjustment that has point eight in it, and then I'll show you. So just know that I'm probably gonna bomb the shootout, but I'm just doing it to show you. All right. So we're gonna make up an adjustment. We're gonna make just a random adjustment. We're gonna say that it'll be. Let me think of a good one. A good pull for this. Hmm. Let's do 5.8. Let's do 5.8 so we can pull over the middle and we can use the green ring as well, and we can use the green ring for that. Okay, let's do 5.8. So 5.8 will be our adjustment, all right? Okay, let's see what he's got here. So 2.9. So I'm going to be way off, but it doesn't matter. Maybe I can place it somewhere to make it work. This is going to be a bad example because you can't zoom in on the rings here. So this is like the worst hole to do this on. Um, you know what? Let me get someplace where you can't zoom in on those rings, so you're not going to be able to see. That hole, unfortunately, is the hole that you can't zoom in on. So, um, let's go. Let's play another one, and I'll use my rock. Since those rings are going to be easier to adjust for point eight. All right, so the adjustment will be 5.8. Even though it may be wrong, I mean I don't really care. So let's see. He's got 2.8. Dang, yeah, these are some low wins for 2 or 7. Jeez, he's even using a basic ball. Crazy, crazy. All right, so now see, he's just eyeballing it. With a low win like that, you could probably get away with that. It's not really that big of a deal. But when you're playing against 8 to 10 mile an hour wind, you can't do. You're not going to be able to do that, especially in a shootout against an opponent that's using an adjustment. Uh, you're not going to win. And if you do, it's because you got lucky. All right, so let's go to our rock. All right, so let me set it up. So our adjustment, our imaginary adjustment is 5.8. All right, so let me just set it up. Okay, so I'm going to rotate my screen. So here, I'm going to set it right here. All right, and I'm going to pull over the bullseye. So here is 5.5. We know this is 5.5 because it is half a ring. So 6, 7, and I'm going to guess like I'm gonna guess that about point 0.8 is probably gonna be just right about there. Right. I don't know if I can make the shot work, but let's try. Let's just try it.
Perfect shot.
You're gonna have to use curl to compensate the shot. Yeah, we made it work. So that's how when you pull over, you're going to so you mainly adjust from the center or middle out. Okay. Pull over, Josh. You pull over the rings because it's a more accurate adjustment. When you pull to the middle, um, I don't know. Personally, for me, it's just not as accurate. Oh, you pull out, so you pull from the center out. Okay, so that's a reverse adjustment.
Great
That's what
shot.
you call a reverse. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's called a reverse adjustment. The only time I use those is like if I'm in a sand trap, um, or on a slope. If you're shooting on a slope, I like to use those. Or yes, you're talking about this. So you're talking about adjusting this way is what you're talking about. I'm assuming is this is a reverse adjustment. So there's 3, 4, and then 4.6 will probably be right about. Yeah, I'll probably be right about there. So that's what I'm assuming what you're talking about, right? For middle out. That's not bad either. You can do it that way as well. I mean, that's just as accurate. Um, that's not a bad method at all. I mean, it's the same concept. You're just doing it from the opposite direction. So here, I'm just gonna eyeball it.
Great shot.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I do use a reverse adjustment. I do use that because in some situations it is the more
Nice out.
accurate way to adjust, but only depending on that situation. Um, do you want to adjust that way? So I guess it's just personal preference. Um, but the problem with adjusting from center out is you have to adjust twice. That's the problem because you can only pull from the center to the outside of the white ring and then you have to go back into the middle again and then adjust again. So if your adjustment is over 5, you have to make
Great
2
shot.
adjustments. That's why I only adjust from the center in
Eagle.
certain situations where the adjustment is under 5. Otherwise, I have to make 2 adjustments. And I might be under time, so that may not be possible for me. So that's why. Um, I mean, if you want to switch, that's up to you. But if you're making 2 adjustments and you're fast enough to do it, um, then that's good. Okay, so you said so the white ring is the fifth ring. Start in the center, just what I'm used to. Right, right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, dude. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just I mean, the only downside to doing that is you have to make 2 adjustments. Um, as I would rather just make 1 adjustment and be done with it. Now, like here for this, you could do a reverse adjustment because it's under point 0.5. So, I think I'm using a little bit too much topspin here. Use a little smidge. Use a smidge. There we go. So here, I'll show you. So here, so 3.6, we're gonna do 10%. So we'll go 4.2. I pushed it out too much. And there's a bad shot
Great
anyway.
shot.
Yeah, man. I don't even know if it would have
Nice
been any
out.
better if I'd hit perfect. To be honest. But yeah, the reverse adjustment, dude, is on. It honestly is almost more accurate because you have the the arrow is blowing straight at you, so you know that the arrow is straight. It's easier to tell that the arrow is straight when you're reverse adjusting as opposed to adjusting the opposite way when it's blowing away from you. It's easier to tell that it's straight when you're
Perfect
facing
shot.
it. So you know that it's straight. So in some circumstances, it is definitely more accurate to do it that way. And if I didn't have to adjust twice, I would
Nice
reverse
arm.
adjust every single time. But like on the lower tours, you could reverse adjust if the wind's under 5 miles an hour. Then yeah, man, I would probably reverse adjust over a normal adjustment. But because I play on on some higher tours, um, I mean sometimes I would have to make three adjustments. Because once you start getting into 10 plus mile an hour, then you got to adjust, and then find your spot. And that right there is going to probably eat up 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I would say anything under 5 miles an hour, reverse adjustment is definitely the way to go. By far, definitely the way to go. Anything above five, I would say anything above 5 and 10, um, I would say normal adjustment would probably be the way to go. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Because I was actually going to bring up the reverse adjust tomorrow, but yeah, I mean, was able to cover it right now. So yeah, I'm glad you
Great
brought that up,
shot.
dude. Yeah, that's a good adjustment, man, for real. For anything under 5 miles an hour. Yeah, yeah, I do like to adjust that way sometimes, man. It just feels more accurate. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, you just got that feeling. You're just like, yeah, this is more accurate. See here, I'll show you for example. Let's see, so 6.8. Let me start it a little farther out here. So 6 point. I'm gonna add crazy curl. So for 6.8 for reverse, I'm gonna go. Whoa. And see, you run into that problem too, where it glitches like that. So if you're adjusting this way, you don't have that problem. Um, so there's 6 point. See, I told you this is what the problem I have. So I'm 6.8. And that could be 6.9 too. So
Great shot.
man, I always hit great left on 2 or 7. I don't know why. So but yeah, guys, so that's going to be the basics. Tomorrow I'm going to run a little bit more in depth. I'm going to go into 11:59 and a 12:01 pole angle. Um, I'm going to get a little more in depth, and I'm going to talk about elevation on your adjustments, and how to find elevation, things like that. So pretty much everything that's going to deal with an adjustment. Um, the remaining I'm going to talk about. So I would suggest going to check out the Golf Clash notebook.io page. There's tons of information there. You've got the cheat sheets that you can make for yourself. Um, if you're unsure about how many rings to adjust for a club per 1 mile an hour wind, you can go there and figure that out too. 100% accuracy club is going to be 1 mile per hour equals one
Nice
ring.
arm.
Wind underneath 50 miles an hour, you can really just divide the wind by two. Um, if you want to just make a quick, fast adjustment, just divide the wind by two. And yeah, I mean, it's like I said. So the hardest thing that you're going to deal with if you're brand new to adjusting is getting everything done in under 30 seconds. That's going to be like the toughest thing to deal with because I always struggle with that because you're going to see the guys like rotating the screen all slow and like doing this and like, hey man, I did it too. Like everyone does it when they first start out. They do. And if you don't, and you say you don't, you're probably lying. But you know, um,
Perfect
yeah,
shot.
it is what it is. So, but I would suggest learning how to do it because it is close. So it's important. Yeah, I'll talk about distances as well tomorrow. Another big thing is distances. Max, medium, and mid distant, or max, medium, and min, or max, mid, min, um, and how the adjustments are going to change in between those three
Eagle.
because they will change. Sometimes just a little bit and sometimes a lot, depending on the wind. So, um, yeah, guys, I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, comment, or you can just DM me on my Facebook through the GCTI page, either Golf Clash Mertzy or my personal at Christopher Mertz. Um, Either one, you know. So yeah, guys, I hope this helped. Yeah,
Eagle.
I'm just right at an hour, so that was the goal. Um, Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Rough One. Thanks for all the other people that were in the stream. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, I hope this helps you out. And tomorrow, same time tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, um, I'm going to do the part two. And I'll try to keep that one under an hour, but there's going to be a lot more information in that. So once you see this video, I would suggest getting on and maybe practicing some of these adjustments. Start at a lower tour where the wind isn't as high so you can get rotating the screen down and getting it all done within 30 seconds. Because once you master it, you can
Perfect
get
shot.
everything done in it and have still like 10, 15 seconds on. You know, so I can do it and get a shot
Nice
off with
on.
like 1 second left or 2 or 3 seconds left. If you're trying to be more exact or have a larger adjustment. Um, but yeah, once you get it down, um, things will your game will improve. I promise and guarantee you that. Because it happened to me. Once I started learning it, I started getting medals in tournaments. Um, my tour game was better, and so here would be a good reversement, but I'm gonna go just normal here. So yes, this is tricky to win here. Whatever, I don't care. So 6.7. I'm gonna guess about 7. We'll see.
Perfect
It'll
shot.
be close, but
Nice on.
all right, guys. I'll catch you later. Thank you.